people, welcome back to the channel that is empowering you with the knowledge that's going to help you build generational wealth. Now, if you're new to my channel, I highly encourage you to go check out the last video because we discuss what wealth is, having a millionaire mindset, and how you too can become a millionaire. Now, I don't know about you, but I find it personally amazing how only about 12% of millionaires inherit their wealth. That means that the vast majority, almost 90%, are self-made, and you could easily become a part of that percentage. You already know I'm all about building generational wealth, helping prepare a brighter and better future for our kids. And what better way to do that than to start that process right now, today. One of the best gifts that you can give your kids is the opportunity to walk across that stage with their degree and not walk into a mountain of debt. If you can avoid your kids having to fall back on student loans, then that is the best gift that you could give them. Look, if student loans were all that great, then explain to me why millions of Americans are hoping that Congress forgives them. I'll wait. And if you have not already checked out this video, then go look at it because you're going to learn exactly why it's a very low probability that those student loan debt is going to be forgiven. Trust me, life is going to throw your children enough hard lessons. They do not need our help in that department. What they do need from us, they need us to help us make this journey for them as easy as possible, providing them the tools and the resources to help them navigate through those hard lessons or even avoid them altogether, because not all life lessons have to be learned the hard way. That being the case, there are several alternative methods to paying for college. In this video, we're going to discuss the best methods to utilize if you want to start that process early, as in you want to start planning before your child enrolls in college. So, a few of the best ways to prepare the future for your little ones are investment options such as 529 accounts or the ESAs, the Coverdell Education Savings Account. These investment vehicles are college savings account where your money isn't just sitting somewhere collecting dust. Instead, it's earning a return. You will often hear me advise you to have an emergency fund, which is a basic savings account with a predetermined set of expenses set aside just in case you have any unexpected emergencies, such as unexpected job loss, so that you can fall back on this emergency fund without having to rely on any loans until you're able to enter the workforce again. Or any unexpected household expenses or your car breaks down. You could also add in, along with your emergency fund, any plans for big purchases or vacation that you want to go on. However, once you reach your goal, once you have capped out on your emergency fund, your 3 to 6 months of expenses, any large purchases or vacation planning, it's not doing you any good to just continue to stack up cash because of inflation. Inflation is the rate that prices increase on an annual basis, which results in a loss of purchasing power. That basically means that the purchasing power that you have in $1 today will be less than the purchasing power that you have in $1 tomorrow. The average return you're earning on your basic savings account is about 0.05%. That's less than pennies on the dollar, you guys. But the average inflation rate is 3.22%. So as you see, you are losing value in your money much faster than you are gaining interest in a basic savings account. So once you've capped out your emergency fund, it is best for you to now look into investment options. In today's video, we are going to discuss the investment options to prepare for college expenses. Now, the average return on the stock market, the S&P 500, is about 12%. That's way more than the inflation rate. So it's not overzealous of us to expect or to utilize an 8% market return as we go into a few calculations. If you invest $100 a month every month from the time your child is born to the time they turn 18 years old at an 8% market return, in 18 years, you will be looking at about $46,000. Now I'm going to have up on the screen how much you actually invested as well as the interest that you have earned. I'll also place what this would look like with a 5% market return as well as a 12% market return. Now, I personally recommend that you invest at least $2,000 a year for your children's college expenses, and you'll see exactly why in just a few minutes. So, if you were to adjust your monthly investment to equate to $2,000 a year per child, then that would be about $166 per month. So, if you were to invest $166.67 every month from the time your child is born to the time they're 18 years old, then you will be looking at about $78,000. As you see, that additional $60+ creates a significant jump in value in your savings account. So it doesn't take very much at all. Now, what I want to show you is if you were to invest a lump sum, you just want to go ahead and knock it out and not do the monthly payments, which you could still do, but if you want to just go ahead and knock out the $2,000, you could invest $2,000 at one time, okay? Now, if you invest $2,000 every year from the time your child is born to the time they turn 18 years old at an 8% market return, this account would be worth $83,000 in 18 years. Now, you're probably wondering,
Mia, how?
How do I have more money with investing $2,000 when I invested $2,000 just on a monthly basis and got less? It's called compound interest. The beauty of it is, let's just use a very simple example. If you invest $100 at an 8% market return, then that's going to be what? An $8 return. But what happens to that interest that you have earned? It's added to that investment. It is reinvested. So the simplest way to explain compound interest is interest earned on interest. Every time you earn a return on your savings account or your investment accounts, the interest that you earn is reinvested. And so you are now earning interest on top of your original investment as well as the interest that you have placed in the account. So when you provide larger dollar amounts in the account, you're going to get more interest at a much quicker rate, which is why I say the sooner you start, the better, because the more you put in, more interest accumulates. And as you see, a $2,000 per year investment at the same market rate for the same amount of time versus a $166 a month investment, which equates to $2,000 a year, is going to provide different investment amounts as the years go by. Now, let's say you don't start when your child is born. Let's say you start about halfway through the process. So let's say your child is 9 years old and you finally jump on that bandwagon and you say, hey, let's get this ball on the roll. 9 years has already passed by pretty quickly. The next 9 years will probably do the same thing. I know I haven't been investing $2,000 a year, so I'm going to double it. So let's say that you invest $4,000 per year for 9 years at an 8% interest rate. Guess what? Even though you have doubled it and you are investing $4,000 per year, you're not going to catch up. You're going to end up with about $57,000. Now, mind you, that is still a substantial amount to be able to provide to your child for their college expenses, but it's not going to be the same as if you were to start early or when they were born. So this is the point. I am showing you these options to let you know that the sooner you start, the better, but it's not too late because you can still earn a substantial return on the account. It comes down to how much you can afford to invest into your child's future. That really boils down to your household. What can you afford to do on the budget that you have established? Now, if we're honest with ourselves, very many of us blow $100 a month just in eating out alone. So it's just weighing what's worth it. Is it worth it for us not to supersize it in order to not leave our children in debt when they graduate? And as far as the $2,000 a year payment, I know we can make that because each child receives a $2,000 tax credit every year. So instead of balling for a few months out of the year because we've got our taxes in, how about we take that $2,000 and invest it into our children's future? They will thank you later and you will thank yourself. I love running numbers. I love making calculations because it's so motivational. I look at these numbers and I just think, oh man, how do we do this? How do we make this a reality? Because guess what? This is reality. This isn't some far-fetched wish upon a star, can I make it happen type situation. This is you can do this. It's very easy and simple, and let's talk about how. The college investment vehicles that we're going to discuss today are 529s and the Coverdell Education Savings Account. There are two types of 529s. There's the 529 Prepaid Plan, and then there's the 529 Savings Plan. And then the Coverdell is just one educational savings account. The 529 Savings Account and the Coverdell are similar, so we're going to cover those at the same time. But right now, let's just do a very brief breakdown on what the 529 Prepaid Plan is. And honestly, it's exactly what it sounds like. The The 529 prepaid plan provides you the option to prepay for your child's college expenses. We've discussed inflation, right? Okay, so let's break this down. In 2000, the average public university tuition cost per year was roughly $8,000, and the average private university tuition cost per year was about $20,000. In 2010, the average public university tuition cost per year was about $14,000, and the private university average per year was roughly $32,000. In 2020, the average public university tuition cost per year is about $27,000, and the average for private universities per year is $41,000. So this serves as a visual aid of what inflation looks like. The cost for college in 2000 versus 2020 has significantly increased, and what the 529 prepaid plans provide you, the option is to prepay at the cost in the year of your child's birth versus having to pay the inflated price of when your child actually attends college. So let's say that your child was born in 2000. They will not have to pay the 2018 tuition cost because they have prepaid at the 2000 tuition cost. So what the 529 prepaid plan does is it eliminates both inflation risk and market risk. It takes away the fact that you're going to lose value in inflation, and it takes away the market risk. There are a few reasons why people don't invest in the stock market, but two very good reasons are, number one, they don't really understand it, and number two, they're afraid to lose their money. Any type of economic downturn or recession freaks them out. They think they're going to lose their money, so they don't want to play with the market, okay? So it's called market risk, and the 529 prepaid plan is perfect for those risk-adverse individuals that don't want to play around with it. Now, in theory, this works, but there are some shortcomings. Just like the market risk is a shortcoming of investing in the stock market, there are some things that you need to consider before you look into a 529 prepaid plan. Now, all of these college accounts, all of these savings accounts are tax advantage, which means all the money that you are investing is post-tax dollars. You've already paid taxes on it, so everything that you will withdraw for college expenses will also be without taxes. You will not have to pay taxes on the money that you withdraw for the educational expenses. They work very much like a Roth IRA, which I am a huge fan of. So the thing about it is these savings accounts are specifically for educational purposes. So if you utilize this money for educational purposes, then that is how you will receive the tax benefit. You will not pay any taxes on the money that you withdraw, including the amount of interest that has been gained. In this case, we're talking about the prepaid plans. With the prepaid plans, it's a tax advantage account, but the 529s are state run. So you're going to really want to read the fine print because not all state prepaid plans are created equal. For example, Florida, the state of Florida has an excellent credit rating, and they back all of their tuition prepaid plans with the full faith and credit of the state. So if the plan or the arrangement were to terminate unexpectedly, if your child is within 5 years of enrollment, then Florida guarantees that they will still be able to utilize the benefits of the prepaid plan that your child is enrolled in. If they are outside of that 5-year window, then you will receive a refund of the amount that you have placed in the account along with the interest that has been earned. Now remember, prepaid plans are not investment vehicles, so that interest is not going to be an 8 or 12% market return. It's going to be more like 1 or 2%. You will be lucky to recoup any type of loss due to inflation, but your interest will not be a significant amount of money, but you are guaranteed to get your money back plus interest. On the flip side, if you look at the state of Illinois, the state of Illinois does not back their prepaid plans with any type of full faith or credit, anything. So there are several parents who think that they are utilizing their prepaid plan with some type of guarantee of any unfunded liability, and they are not. So a lot of hurt and broken hearts have been realized because, like I said, not all state prepaid plans are created equally. Also, you'll want to look into whether or not you qualify for that enrollment. Some states require residency, other states might not. Also, these prepaid plans are for participating public universities. Now, there has been a private university 529 plan that was established in 2003, but the 529 state-run plans are for participating public universities. One more downfall, there are not as many options available for new enrollment. So there are some prepaid plans that have been closed to new enrollment. So you'll just want to read the fine print in any state plan that you look into utilizing. Moving on to the 529 savings plan and the Coverdell education savings account, these are both investment vehicles. They have very many similarities, but there are some noticeable differences. With the 529 savings plan, this is a state-run fund, as we discussed. So there are predetermined investment portfolios that you have to utilize with the 529 savings plan. You are able to reallocate 2 times a year within the same portfolio, but it is run by the state. You do not have control over what you are able to invest in. Whereas with the Coverdell education savings plan, you can invest in whatever you want, whether it be stocks, bonds, or mutual funds. With the 529 savings plan, there is no limit. There's no limit to how much you can put in there. There is no income restriction, and there is no age limit. With the Coverdell, there is a $2,000 per year limit that you can contribute. There are income restrictions, and there is an age limit. If your child decides that they want to go to school at 35 utilizing the 529 savings plan, they are within their rights to use the funds that's there as long as they are named as the beneficiary. With Coverdell, you have to utilize these funds by 30. At the age of 30, your child will be given these funds and they will pay taxes on them if they're not utilized for college expenses, or they can be transferred to another family member, whether that family member be a sibling, an aunt, a niece, a nephew. As long as they are related and can prove that relation, then it is transferable. Remember, these are tax advantage accounts, so you are utilizing post-tax dollars to invest into these accounts, and anything that you withdraw for educational purposes, even the interest gained, will not be taxed. Educational expenses include tuition, room, books, board, supplies of that nature. No, you cannot buy a car for your child to attend college with these funds. They will be taxed. Okay, you tried it. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're probably wondering what happens to this money if your child decides they don't want to go to college, or what if they get a scholarship? The beautiful thing about the 529 prepaid plan is if your child gets a scholarship, then all fees that are attached to taking this money out for anything other than educational purposes are waived. It's your money and they will give it back to you, including the interest. Now, if your child decides not to go to college, then they will just give you your money back. And some of the prepaid plans, I told you, all state plans are not created equally. So you want to verify with the one that you decide to utilize. If your child decides not to go to college, a lot of them will only give you the principal. They will only give you the money that you put into the account. You will not get the interest. But if it's a scholarship related issue, then they will gladly waive those fees. For both the 529 savings plan and the Coverdell, those accounts are fully transferable. With the 529 prepaid plans, again, the transferability, you have to look into the fine print of the state plan that you are utilizing. But with the 529 savings plan and Coverdell, both accounts are fully transferable. So if your child decides they do not want to go to college, you can rename the beneficiary on that account. Or guess what? It's your money. You invested this money. If you decide that you want to use this for anything other than college-related expenses because your child has either gotten a full scholarship or they no longer want to attend college, then you can take this money and it will be taxed. It will be taxed and there might be a penalty attached. You will have to look into the fine print of the account that you utilize, but it's your money. And I promise you, if you only invested about $20,000, but you are looking at an $80,000 gain, I don't think you're really going to care about what the fee is or the tax. You just want your money. Now, I know I told you that with 529 prepaid plans, there are residency requirements with a few of those plans, but with the 529 savings plan, you are actually able to shop around with other state options. So if there are better investment options or lower fees for other state savings plans, then you are able to go and look into utilizing those. You're not bound to your state's 529 saving plan. The last thing that I want to mention is these accounts are for educational purposes. So it's not just college. If you have any K through 12 educational expenses, you can utilize the savings that you have placed in these accounts for their college expenses. So it is not just for college expenses. If you have your child in private school and there is some tuition costs that you would like to cover utilizing this account, then you are able to do so. Alright guys, that wraps up this video. I know it was a lot of information, but the beauty of it is you can press pause or rewind as many times as you need to. As always, please utilize the comment section below to ask any questions that you may have in order to gain a better understanding. You guys, this resource costs you nothing, but you could gain everything. You want to know what else costs you nothing? Hitting that subscribe button and turning on your notifications. And share this information and help a friend. Go follow me on Instagram and I'll see you all the next time.